I need to be honest with you. I have been tracking every Food and Drug Administration food safety ruling for the past 2 years, and what is happening right now to America's snack aisle is absolutely unprecedented. 25 of the most popular snacks and foods that millions of Americans buy every single week are being forced to change their recipes in 2026 and 2027 because the FDA finally banned the ingredients inside them. And the crazy part is, most people have no idea this is coming. While everyone is arguing about grocery prices and shrinkflation, the federal government is quietly forcing the largest reformulation of American packaged food in history. We are talking about 9,000 products worth over $4 billion in annual sales. When I tell you about number 6 on this list, you are going to look at that product completely differently because the ingredient inside it was banned in Europe over 30 years ago, and the last time the company tried to change the recipe, sales crashed 35% overnight. And number 20 affects something found in almost every restaurant, every bar, every ice cream shop, and millions of home kitchens across America. An entire industry is scrambling right now because of this ban. Here is what is actually happening behind the scenes. On January 15th, 2025, the FDA signed an order officially banning red dye number 3 from all food and dietary supplements in America. The deadline for companies to comply is January 15th, 2027. But that is just the beginning. Earlier, the FDA already banned another chemical called brominated vegetable oil back in July of 2024, and then in April of 2025, the government announced a plan to phase out every single remaining petroleum-based synthetic food dye in the country by the end of 2027. Red 40, Yellow 5, Yellow 6, Blue 1, Blue 2, and Green 3 are all on the chopping block. On top of that, California passed its own Food Safety Act that takes effect January 1st, 2027, banning 4 ingredients, including 2 that the federal government has not even touched yet, and they are not alone. Over 140 bills were introduced across 38 states in 2025 alone. West Virginia already banned synthetic dyes in school meals as of August 1st, 2025. This is a tidal wave, and it is about to completely reshape your grocery store. So if you want to know exactly which products are changing, what they are going to taste and look like after the switch, and which ones might disappear entirely, pay close attention to every item I am about to share. And hey, if this kind of information is valuable to you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now because I am going to keep bringing you the stuff nobody else is talking about. Alright, let us get into it. Snack number 1 is Peeps. Let us start with one of the most recognizable candies in America. Those bright pink and lavender Peeps that show up every Easter have already been changed, and most people did not even notice. Peeps contained red dye number 3 for decades. That is the same dye the FDA just banned because studies showed it causes thyroid tumors in laboratory rats. After a Consumer Reports petition gathered nearly 30,000 signatures, Just Born Quality Confections quietly reformulated Peeps after Easter of 2024, swapping Red 3 for Red 40. The good news is most consumers reported no major difference in taste or appearance. The catch? Red 40 itself is now on the voluntary phase-out list, so Peeps may have to change again before 2028. Snack number 2 is Brach's Candy Corn. If you stock up on candy corn every fall, the ones you bought in 2025 were likely the last made with the original formula. Brach's Candy Corn contained Red 3 alongside Yellow 5 and Yellow 6 for as long as anyone can remember. Ferrara Candy Company, which makes Brach's, started their reformulation roadmap back in early 2023, and the candy corn shipping for fall of 2025 no longer contains Red 3. The same goes for Brach's Conversation Hearts. In January of 2026, they launched a completely new version called Sweet Bright Conversation Hearts, with a crunchy texture and tangy flavors. If you bought Conversation Hearts for Valentine's Day in 2025, those were almost certainly the last ones made with the original ingredients. Snack number 3 is Brach's Cinnamon Imperials. those little red-hot candies that have been around forever, are part of approximately 100 Brock's products that contain Red 3. That includes Mellow Cream Pumpkins, Autumn Mix, Star Brights, and Mother Circus Animal Cookies. The pink frosting on those circus animal cookies gets its color from Red 3. Ferrara says everything will be reformulated by the end of 2026, but they have not said exactly what they are replacing it with. And when you have approximately 100 products to reformulate, some of those recipes are going to change more noticeably than others. Snack number 4 is Hostess Ding Dongs. Now here is a product that most people would never guess contains red dye number 3. Hostess Ding Dongs, confirmed by the Center for Science in the Public Interest, contain the banned dye. J.M. Smucker, which now owns Hostess, actually responded faster than almost any other company. They started reformulating in January of 2025, replacing synthetic reds and yellows with beet juice and paprika extract. They committed to eliminating synthetic dyes across all Hostess brands by the end of 2027, with anything sold to schools going dye-free a full year earlier. This is one of the success stories so far. Snack number 5 is Little Debbie Cosmic Brownies. This is where things start to get concerning. The multicolored candy-coated sprinkles on top contain red dye number 3. McKee Foods, the company behind Little Debbie, is privately held. They do not have to answer to shareholders. As of right now, they have made 0 public commitments about removing synthetic dyes. The Center for Science in the Public Interest rates McKee Foods as having no plan, and 46% of their products contain synthetic dyes. When January of 2027 arrives and red dye number 3 is officially illegal, what happens to Cosmic Brownies? Nobody outside that company knows. Snack number 6 is Necco Wafers. Now this one is going to break some hearts, and I am not exaggerating. Necco wafers have been an American institution since 1847. They were carried by Civil War soldiers. They were issued to GIS in World War II. And right now they contain red dye number 3, along with yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, and red 40. Spangler Candy Company, which owns Necco Wafers, has made no public reformulation announcement. And the reason that is terrifying is simple. In 2009, the Necco company tried switching to all natural colors. Sales dropped approximately 35%. Customers absolutely rejected the changed appearance. The company was forced to switch back to artificial dyes by 2011. And when Necco nearly went out of business in 2018, consumers panic bought Necco wafers so aggressively that eBay prices soared, and Cracker Barrel's 650-plus stores nearly sold out completely. This product has perhaps the most difficult reformulation challenge of anything on this list. If Spangler cannot thread this needle, Necco wafers might not survive this ban. Snack number 7 is Pez candy. Every standard Pez candy variety, those little rectangular bricks kids have been popping out of novelty dispensers for decades, contains the banned dye, along with yellow 5, yellow 6, and blue 2. Pez's International said they will ensure continued compliance, which is about as vague as it gets. The deadline is January 2027, and the clock is ticking. Snack number 8 is Double Bubble Original Twist Bubblegum. That classic pink bubblegum from Tootsie Roll Industries also contains a banned ingredient. Tootsie Roll is another privately held company just like McKee Foods, and they have said absolutely nothing publicly about their plans. When a company goes silent on something like this, it usually means they are scrambling behind the scenes. Now this is where the whole thing gets much bigger than candy. Snack number 9 is Morningstar Farms Veggie Bacon Strips. You might be thinking, what does a veggie bacon strip have to do with food dye bans? The answer is everything. Morningstar Farms uses Red 3 to create that reddish-brown cooked bacon appearance. Without that dye, the product looks nothing like bacon. This is a perfect example of how these bans reach far beyond the candy aisle. Kellanova, which owns Morningstar Farms, says they are working on compliance by 2027. Replacing the color that makes fake bacon look like real bacon is an enormous technical challenge. Snack number 10 is Pop-Tarts Frosted Confetti Cake Bites. The colorful sprinkles and frosting on these contain Red 3. Pop-Tarts are one of America's most iconic breakfast items, and Kellanova says they are working to ensure compliance by the deadline. What makes this tricky is that the confetti sprinkles are essentially the entire selling point of this flavor. Change those colors and you change the product's identity. Now let me tell you about the beverages that are changing, because this is not just about what you eat, it is about what you drink too. Snack number 11 is Yoo-Hoo Strawberry Drink. Keurig Dr. Pepper confirmed the banned dye is in Yoo-Hoo Strawberry and told CBS News that the new formula will be on shelves before the end of 2025. That makes it one of the earliest beverage reformulations. If you are a Yoo-Hoo fan, by the time you watch this, the switch may have already happened. Number 12 is Nesquik Strawberry Milk. That classic pink color that generations of kids grew up pouring into their cereal bowls comes from a banned dye. Nestle is actually one of the fastest movers in the industry. They plan to complete elimination of all synthetic dyes from U.S. products by mid-2026 using gardenia extract, beet juice, and caramel color. Over 90% of their products are already compliant. Number 13 is True Move Strawberry Whole Milk from H.P. Hood. It contains the same banned ingredient and the same pink color, but the corporate response has been very different. H.P. Hood has made no public announcement about reformulation. If you buy True Move for your kids or grandkids, keep an eye on the ingredient label. Number 14 is Good Humor Strawberry Shortcake Bars. That iconic pink crumb coating, the one millions of Americans grew up eating, uses Red 3. The bars are expected to switch to natural colorants like strawberry powder or annatto. The problem with natural colors is significant though. They cost 20 to 30% more per unit. They are less stable, meaning they fade under heat and light, and they produce softer, more muted tones. Industry taste tests show no significant flavor difference, but there is a 12% drop in perceived quality when colors are less vibrant. Oxford food psychologist Charles Spence has explained this phenomenon. When you reduce the color saturation of a food, your brain tells you it is going to taste less sweet or less flavorful. So even if the reformulated strawberry shortcake bar tastes exactly the same, your eyes might convince your brain otherwise. Number 15 is Betty Crocker Decorating Icing and Sprinkles. General Mills found the banned dye in their red icing and rainbow nonpareil sprinkles. They are replacing it with spirulina, turmeric, and fruit juice concentrates. General Mills committed to removing all synthetic colors from U.S. cereals and school foods by summer of 2026, with everything else done by the end of the following year. They are already 85% compliant, which makes them one of the leaders in this whole transition. Number 16 is Duncan Hines Confetti Cake Mix. Conagra is reformulating this one, along with the rest of their portfolio. They have actually been ahead of the curve in some areas. They already switched Orville Redenbacher's popcorn to annatto and Vlasic pickles to turmeric, and most consumers never noticed the difference. Number 17 is Marie Callender's Birthday Cake Pie. Conagra plans to make its entire frozen food portfolio, including Healthy Choice and Bird's Eye, completely dye-free by the end of 2025. That is one of the most aggressive timelines in the industry. Number 18 is Nestle Toll House Funfetti Cookie Dough. If you have ever baked cookies with your kids or grandkids using that tub of cookie dough from the refrigerated section, those rainbow chips contain the banned ingredient. Nestle is reformulating this alongside Nesquik under their mid-2026 deadline, so the next batch you buy might already be different. Number 19 is Betty Crocker Fruit by the Foot, certain varieties. This one hits different because it is marketed directly at children. It contains the banned dye, and it is part of General Mills' broader commitment to go completely dye-free across all products. Number 20 is maraschino cherries. This is the one that affects almost everyone. The maraschino cherry industry is one of the largest users of red dye number 3 in America. Those bright red cherries that top sundaes, go into fruit cocktails, and dress cocktails across the country get their color from red dye number 3. Many store brands, including Walmart and Kroger, have already switched to red dye number 40, but this transition is affecting the entire cherry processing industry nationwide. Number 21. Jelly Belly candies. Certain varieties use a banned dye, and Jelly Belly has stayed completely silent about their plans. If you have a jar of Jelly Belly candies in your house right now, check the ingredient label. You might be surprised. Number 22 is Vigo Saffron Yellow Rice Mix. Here is one nobody is talking about. It is not candy, it is not a snack. It is a dinner staple in millions of American households, especially in the South and in Hispanic communities. The banned dye combined with yellow 5 creates that vibrant orange color. Nobody knows when or how this will be reformulated. Number 23 is Entenmann's Little Bites Party Cake, mini muffins. The sprinkles contain the banned ingredient. Bimbo Bakeries, which owns Entenmann's, has not made a specific public announcement, even though their subsidiary Grupo Bimbo committed to full portfolio reformulation by the end of 2026. Number 24 is Dippin' Dots Cotton Candy Flavor. Now here is some genuinely good news. J&J Snack Foods proactively removed the banned ingredient from all products over 6 months before the ban was even announced, including all ICEE products. This is proof that companies can move quickly when they actually want to. And number 25 is McCormick Cake Mate Red Icing. McCormick said they had very limited use of the banned dye and had already begun removing it before the FDA even issued its ruling. They are another company that did the right thing without being forced. Before I move on, let me tell you about the other banned ingredient. Brominated vegetable oil, known as BVO, was used for decades in citrus-flavored sodas to keep flavor oils from separating. Mountain Dew, Gatorade, Fanta Orange, Powerade, and Sundrop all contained it. The FDA banned BVO in July of 2024 after studies confirmed it is toxic to the thyroid and causes bioaccumulation of bromine in the heart, liver, and fat tissue. The insane part is this: BVO was removed from the FDA safe list back in 1970, but was allowed to remain on an interim basis. That interim lasted 54 years. Most major brands quietly removed it years ago. A Mississippi teenager's petition with over 200,000 signatures pressured PepsiCo to pull it from Gatorade back in 2013. Sundrop was the last major national brand still using it and completed removal by mid-2025. Now pay attention, because this next part should concern every American. Everything I just told you about is just the first wave. Red dye number 3 is banned, but the products that use red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, and the other synthetic dyes face a second wave of changes. Think Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles, Skittles, M&Ms, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Doritos, Lucky Charms, Jolly Ranchers, Twizzlers, Kool-Aid, and Jell-O. None of these contain red dye number 3, but they all contain other synthetic dyes that are now on the voluntary phase-out list. WK Kellogg committed to reformulating all their cereals by the end of 2027. Kellogg reported $2.76 billion in North American cereal sales in 2024 alone. Hershey committed to removing synthetic dyes from Jolly Ranchers, Twizzlers, and Icebreakers by the end of 2027. Kraft Heinz pledged Kool-Aid and Jell-O reformulation by 2027, though 90% of their overall portfolio is already dye-free. The company that should worry you the most is Mars, the company behind Skittles, M&Ms, and Starburst has 52% of its products containing synthetic dyes, one of the highest percentages of any major food company. And Mars has flat out refused to commit to a full phase out. They argue that the dyes are safe when used as directed. The Texas Attorney General is now investigating them. The infuriating irony is this. Mars already reformulated Skittles for the European Union market back in 2022, removing titanium dioxide to comply with the EU ban. They prove they can do it. They just will not do it for American consumers. And that brings me to the question that should make every American angry. Why were these ingredients legal here in the first place? The European Union banned brominated vegetable oil in 2008. The United Kingdom banned it in 1970. The EU restricted red dye number 3 since the mid-1990s, banned titanium dioxide in 2022, and requires warning labels on red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 stating they may harm children's attention and behavior. Canada, Japan, Brazil, China, India, South Korea, and over 30 other countries banned one or more of these ingredients years or even decades before the United States acted. Meanwhile, America allowed companies to self-declare ingredients safe without FDA review through the GRAS loophole, generally recognized as safe. Nearly 99% of new chemicals entering the American food supply between 2000 and 2021 came through this self-certification process. The FDA never evaluated them. The EU operates under the precautionary principle. If safety cannot be confirmed, an additive gets banned. America operated under the exact opposite approach for decades. Additives on the market before 1958 were automatically grandfathered in. No review, no testing. Just keep selling it. In March of 2025, HHS Secretary Kennedy directed the FDA to explore eliminating the generally recognized as safe self-certification pathway entirely. A proposed rule was sent to the White House in December of 2025. If that goes through, it would be the most significant change to American food safety regulation since 1958. So what does all of this mean for you? The snacks you grew up with are being remade right now. Some of them have already changed, and you did not notice. Kraft did it brilliantly in 2016 when they quietly switched their mac and cheese from artificial dyes to paprika and annatto. Nobody noticed. That is the gold standard. But not every company is going to pull that off. When General Mills removed artificial dyes from Trix cereal in 2015, the cereal became visibly drabber, lost its blue puffs entirely, and consumers revolted so hard that General Mills had to bring back the artificial dye version just 2 years later. The products most at risk of disappearing entirely are niche, low-margin items where reformulation costs, which run between $50,000 and $500,000 per product, simply cannot be justified. Small regional candy brands, specialty baking products, and items where the color literally is the product identity are the most vulnerable. Here is the bottom line. Between now and the end of 2027, virtually every brightly colored processed food in America is going to be reformulated. Some will taste and look exactly the same, some will look noticeably different, and some, like Necco wafers, might not survive at all. 2/3 of Americans actually support removing artificial colors from food, but 22% express concern about taste and appearance changes. If there is a product on this list that you love exactly the way it is right now, you have a window. The Red 3 ban does not take full effect until January of 2027. Many products are being reformulated right now, but some of the originals are still on shelves. Once they are gone, the recipe you grew up with is gone forever. If you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button because the second wave of changes is coming, and I will be here to tell you exactly what is happening before anyone else does. Stay smart out there.